Hey, what's up, YouTube? We back at it again. Like I told y'all, we in Vegas, so we're gonna get it done regardless. I know the other video I didn't have my mic, didn't realize I had it, but I have it, so hopefully you can hear me better on this video. All right, so let's get right into it. Real raw, uncut video. You know how it go. All right, so look, um, we talked about building business and so forth and things of that nature. So I want to touch on one thing that can probably help you when you're already in business, because a lot of times we kind of forget that the people are the ones that help us build the business, right? So since we know that the people are the focus, what are some things that you can do in order to continue to grow your business, right? Because that's what it comes down to. Are we trying to grow our business? We want to stay stagnant, which nobody does, right? Or we're gonna go backwards. And so what I noticed over the past few years, whenever we are stagnant or went backwards, is because we didn't put enough emphasis on the people, right? And so I do remember at one point in time, one of the things that we did, one of the tools that we used was before and after pictures, right? Before and after pictures, especially when you have a gym like mine, and you know the culture of my gym, right? And culture matters. So let me say this. So before and after pictures, when you use those, what you're doing is you're involving the people in your business, right? And they get to see the importance of what they mean to you. They also get to see and track some of the things that's important to them, aesthetics and how they look, things of that nature, or if they lost 20 pounds, which if you go to my IG page, Athletic Zone 214, you will see one of the clients who just posted that she just lost 20 pounds for the first time ever, right? Guess what we did? We reposted information. Does it help the business? Yeah, absolutely. But it also helps build a relationship between the business and that person. And so what I was gonna say is when I look at the past and look at some of the time when we didn't have the numbers that we were looking at, there was a couple of different things that were going on. One, we all know what happened with COVID. We couldn't work and so forth, right? And so couldn't be at the gym. But at that particular time, we went online more and I started to see there was a lot of engagement. And as soon as the doors opened, like we had a 700% jump, from the numbers that we were told through the system that we use, right? And that's crazy. So what we were able to do was connect, online with people from different, countries, different states, wherever they were, connect online, being able to have communication, right? And they were able to see us and get out, get active, and so forth. And then as soon as our doors opened, when people started coming in, one thing that we did at that particular time, we had people helping us too, because we were real big on like putting out the promotions of like this is what we offer, this is what we do. And then not too long after that, as people kept coming, we started posting like records that they would hit as far as lifts. And we had, certain tests that we do, deadlift, squat, who had certain numbers, put it on the board, posted up on the IG page, and then the growth was happening. And so kind of got away from it a little bit. You start having a growth, and this is for any new business owner. It's going to happen, at some point. You're going to have growth and so forth. And you think, okay, boom, that's the ticket, like that's it. But you have to continue to do it because what I noticed is we did it for a season and then didn't do it for a season. And you start to see the retention start to change a little bit. And I actually have a system that tells you where your retention is. My retention is 70% of old, members who came in. We retain 70% of those members. But then there's like with the new members, like a 52%, I think, retention it was. You want that percentage to be high as possible. And so, but what I noticed is with the new members and so forth, we don't really have the same engagement as we did before. Videos are being posted, and like we have good content, which means new members are coming in and see the videos and so forth. But then when it comes to the retention part of it, we don't pay as much attention to that part like we did before. And so that's an area where I know that if you incorporate those before and after pictures, and if you start, doing tests or whatever it is that you do, and you post the members, right? That keeps your retention high. Uh, and so, like I said, I'm gonna speak from a real raw perspective. And so I think you got to see both sides of it. See the bad side of what can happen when you don't, and see the good side of what can happen when you do. And so, if you really want to expand, because that's the whole goal. The whole goal is to expand, right? Like I told you the other day, I'm here in Vegas. The gym is still running. We have a continuity program, which all that means is we have memberships, right? So we're membership based and not just PT based, because when you're PT based, your money is directly tied into, your time. And so you want to have that continuity or that residual income coming in through the memberships, right? And so since that is the important, I guess, piece of the business and the backbone of the business, you want to make sure that that's strong, right? Because if it's not, then the rest of it's going to fail. So one tool that you can use is before and after pictures. Now, you only can use before and after pictures if you have a results-driven gym. Like, like I always like to mention, I don't have a traditional gym, right? It's a warehouse gym, but we train all types of people, athletes, general population, kids, whatever, right? But it's the results. So they're only coming for the results. And so if at any point, and I see a lot of gyms and don't knock to them, they push the equipment, they push the new restrooms, they push all the other stuff that you can push, all the bells and whistles, but you don't see them really pushing the results. because they know they just want to get the cheap memberships and get as many people coming in as possible where they're comfortable. So imagine if I had a gym that's set up to where, yeah, I got all the bells and whistles, all new equipment, right? People could just walk through the door, you know, 20, 30, 50, $60 membership, and I have thousands of people paying it. I could care less if you get the results or not. All I care about is the money. And so I chose the harder route, which is fine, but that's the route I chose because I'm more about the results. I really want you to come in, work, and get the results. And so that's how you, if you, especially if you're in a boot camp business, if you know, use the tools that I gave you before about using a boot camp business to go build you a gym so that you can, you know, have a place of work that you enjoy, you know, for as long as you choose to do it. You have to be results driven. And so those before and after pictures ties right into that. And you can't have that type of culture and you can't post that type of content if you don't have that type of gym. So, you know, you look at a lot of the CrossFit gyms, and now you have High Rocks, which is blowing up. My gym is High Rocks affiliated. I'm also considering CrossFit affiliation. But when you look at those type of gyms, you'll see those are results-driven gyms, and that's why it's a whole culture built behind it. You don't have a High Rocks event every single month, different cities, different countries, thousands of people showing up, not just competitors, people coming and spectators too. You don't have that type of support without building a culture. And the culture within that, especially with like High Rocks, if you look at it, it's results driven. You know exactly what your test is. You have your 1,000 meter runs. You have your 8 events. You know you're chasing a certain amount of time. Either you're competing with yourself or you're competing with the best, right? And so like it's results driven, and it's a culture built behind it, and it just keeps expanding and growing. And you've seen over the past couple of years just how it just blew up. All right, I remember hearing about this back in like 2015, 2016, and then from just that time, you know, it's blown up to what it is. Look at CrossFit when CrossFit first started, and they had, you know, events outside at different, you know, locations, but it was like a garage gym, some makeshift weights, whatever. Now to the point where they probably have more fitness sponsors than any other, you know, fitness affiliation. And so the results part of it, the culture that they built, that's what you want to build. So like at Athletic Zone, in my gym, we had what you call, it's like a fitness competition, I guess you could say. Well, it is. It's a fitness competition, right? And so we had this every year for a certain amount of time. This was the first year that we didn't do it. But guess what? Next year we back on it. Why? Because you start to see how people work and have a certain mindset when they know that there's a goal. So when AZ Games come back around, you know, I already expect there to be a certain amount of people with a certain amount of focus, you know, from the time that we announced that we're going to have a competition to stick around and do the work necessary to be able to get to that event and compete. And so all the other, you know, big, you know, High Rocks, CrossFit, whatever, you know, they're doing it. Why not have it on at least a small scale for you? Again, results driven. So these are different things that you can incorporate in your business. Before and after pictures, for sure, because that's something that doesn't cost a lot of money, especially in the beginning. You know, every 6 weeks and so forth, you might have results out of one person, depending on if this person dedicated to their diet, to the workouts or not. But you know, if you got like 12 people, you got at least one post a month that you can make for before and after. The more people you get, the more posts you can make, right? And so that's something I would look forward to. And if you only have, let's say you have 12 people in your boot camp, you know you want to make the 12 before and after photos. Let's say everybody didn't reach the before and after goal, right? They didn't have the aesthetics that they're looking for. There's some type of success they had, but they couldn't run before. I had a text today from a client who was like, hey, I ran a 5K using the tips that you gave me. I forgot all about it. But, you know, that's something that impacted somebody that I can actually use as a post and say, hey, congratulations to such and such. She hit her, 5K mark or whatever. Like you can use those things if they don't have the aesthetic part of it, but you have to be results driven, right? So the couple things I would say is of course, I'm always say build your culture, but you have to make sure that while you're building your culture, praise the members some type of way, right? That way you keep them engaged, and then be results driven. If you can do those two things, you can have success within your business to help you grow and get to the next level. You know what time it is. It's your boy, Coach D. Make an excuse or make a way.